It was 1954, and my mother was the lead singer of a big band by Henry Barr here in Grand Rapids. She was so pretty, only 29 in her little chiffon dress, and she would just sing her heart out at it was the biggest club here in Grand Rapids at the time in the 50s. So my mom was a real star. And there she was one night just singing away, and my father walked in, and he was a military man. He was about 31 years old at the time when he first saw my mother. And I remember my mother told me he was tall and he was handsome. And she said it was love at first sight. He looked at her and she looked at him. And they were going to get married. But it never happened. They never got married. And I would never know who that man was until yesterday. If you could go back in time and meet your ancestors, would you? Which ones would you pick? What would you ask? What would you tell? I think if I could go back in time and ask my ancestors anything, it would be, what did they hope for their life and what did they hope for their children? And how do they feel about how everything turned out? Alexa, what's YouTube?
YouTube is an American video sharing website headquartered in San Bruno, California.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hey everybody, I'm so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I just love it that you do that. I hope you had a great week. I had a week to remember. I think so many of you know and are sharing this journey with me that I'm going on with Ancestry.com and learning the roots of my family and trying to find my father. And as of Tuesday, February 5th at 2 p.m., I found out who my father is. And I found his family. And everything that I thought I would feel, I feel that and more. So I can't wait to share that with you. I'm so happy to be here today, and what I wanted to kind of talk about was a few things that I'm loving. I mean, not my favorites, but things that I'm truly loving that are kind of unique, things I've never talked about before. And I thought, you know, because I'm loving them so much that you might like them too. You know, in January, Michigan was so cold and windy and snowy, and I got my face chapped. That sounded awful. But anyway, I had to, you know, stop my skincare. I was talking about this last week. And one thing that I did with my makeup, and so many of you asked me about my makeup, my foundation, what I was using when my skin was so red and irritated. And I wanted to mention something that I kind of rediscovered that I love, and it is the L'Oreal Mineral Makeup. I have this in 2 different shades. I know a lot of you use mineral makeup, and you use all kinds of different mineral makeup. This one I love by L'Oreal because, well, it just looks very natural on my skin, but the most important thing is it doesn't sting my skin. There are quite a few mineral makeups that sting my skin. It hurts. And there are some powders that do that to my skin also. So it isn't that my skin is so overly sensitive, but sometimes with powder, it truly is. I'm not a fancy schmancy gadget gal, but I do love my satellite radio in my car. I love the Beatles channel, and if I'm stressed and driving and I can just blast Beatles songs, I mean, I am good to go. So I signed up for a satellite radio for my car, and they gave me a free Echo Dot. And so I got this, and I thought, oh boy, is it going to be hard to hook up? Once I get it hooked up, what am I going to do with it? And does it cost me money? And you know, well, anyway, I was a little overwhelmed. And it said, well, to hook this up, you have to download the app on your phone. Well, that was no problem. That was easy. So I plugged in the Echo Dot, and I found out that it was so easy to set up, and that it doesn't cost me anything to be able to use it. And then I thought to myself, well, what am I going to use it for? And what I'm finding that is so cool is I can make a grocery list on it. I can ask it to play certain songs. I can ask it what the weather is. I mean, I can go on and on. But it's just so cool, and it's free. And I don't know, I was just kind of amazed by that. I thought, well, maybe I had to have Amazon Prime, but I don't. So what I loved is I started making a shopping list. And then when I'm at the store, because I never remember shopping lists, I can just look down on my phone, because my phone is attached to my Echo Dot. And so everything I've told my Echo, is this making any sense? But it's right on my phone in the store, so I know what to get. So I thought that was just, anyway, so I'm loving it. Alexa, can you add something to my grocery list?
What should I add to grocery?
Can you add 50 pounds of potatoes to my grocery list? I'm so Irish.
I've added potatoes to grocery.
You know, when I think about when I was a little girl and I'd sit down and I would, pound out on the piano songs, and how much that meant to me and how simple it was, and now I can just say, Alexa, play songs by Susan Buchanan.
Shuffling Your Songs by Susan Buchanan on Amazon Music.
And it's going to play my songs. I wrote that song, and I sing it, and I play it, and I can tell Alexa to play it. Well, it's almost Valentine's Day, and what do you think when you think of Valentine's Day? Yep, grip socks. No, but seriously, this company is called Gripjoy, and they sent me their specialty socks for, in return for an honest review, and I fell so in love with these socks. I use them during my workout. I do cardio, and I'm starting to do some yoga. But anyway, I fell in love with them, and I started talking to the company, and so I ended up partnering with them. And because I have partnered with them, I have a 40% off discount code below for you in case you're in the market for socks like this. These are so well crafted, and these are cotton, and when you wear them, your feet can breathe. I know so many of you out there have parents that are in nursing homes, and when your loved one is in a wheelchair and they need to get from the wheelchair to the bed and they have to stand up, sometimes the attendants don't put slippers on them. So it's so nice to have the grip socks for their safety. So I love it for that. I love a company who seems to care. I love a company who seems to care about the well-being of their customers, whether it's a pregnant woman, someone in a nursing home, someone like me who are, I'm in my middle 60s and I'm doing exercises and I don't want to be, slipping and sliding. Another thing too is when I go to someone's home and you have to remove your shoes and then you hit their kitchen floor and you go sliding. Not in these. These are absolutely great. But these run $15 for 3, but I have a coupon below for you that's 40% off. And you're probably wondering well, what makes those grip socks so different than the other grip socks? And you're probably not thinking that at all. But if you were, the difference with these grip socks is that these were designed to fit in your shoe. So you don't have to, stop and take them off and put different socks on and then put your shoe. These fit right in your shoe and they're comfortable and they're breathable and they're wonderful and they're high quality. So I love them. I love them and I wanted to make sure that I told you about them. Another thing that I am loving is a handbag. This is a Bellorita handbag and I absolutely fell in love with it. I remember the first time I saw this bag, I went to the website and I just was mesmerized. They have wallets and clutches and many different designs, but I just fell in love with the bag. And anyway, so this company reached out to me and sent me this bag in return for an honest review. And of course, I fell in love with it. It is a leather bag. And the man who designed this bag is named Jackson. And Jackson he was a research scientist, but he followed his dream and he began to design these beautiful leather handbags in the Asian tradition of artwork, symbolism, colors, craftsmanship, threading, just absolutely beautiful. So I don't know what to say. I mean, they wanted a review, but I don't think a bag like this needs a review. I mean, it's a beautiful bag. And they run anywhere from $100 to $300. I will show you a close-up of the bag in a different part of this video. But, for not a very big bag, it's very roomy inside. The hardware is gorgeous. The fish is kind of playful and very symbolic in Asian culture. The pearls are also very symbolic of innocence. And the care that they put into making this bag made it so, well, it just it makes it really special for me to have. You guys know me. I am not a designer handbag collector. I don't even know that much about handbags, but what I do know is what I love. And the older I get, the more I want my clothes and my handbags to represent who I am as a woman and what I'm about. I like statement bags. I like a handbag to be artistic and to be unique and to express to the world who I am. So, well, that's kind of a tall order for a handbag, but I tell you what, I went out to dinner with my girlfriend Chu. It was a beautiful seafood restaurant, and I carried this bag, and I felt like $1 million when I walked in, and people stared at it. People stared at the bag. I mean, they didn't call 911, but I mean, you could tell they admired it because they asked me about it. The women did, and it was very touching to me because I really needed that boost this week. But I will link all the information below in the info box so you would have a chance to actually see this company, read about their craftsmanship, and look at the handbags that they offer. They have a beautiful matching wallet to this bag that I am going to splurge. I'm going to take my birthday money and I am going to get the matching wallet for this bag because it's so beautiful. Ancestry DNA. This was a gift my son got me for Christmas to help me try to find my father. And I was excited, but I honestly didn't think I was going to find my birth father. I really didn't. But I did. February 5th, just a few days ago at 2 in the afternoon. I had a first cousin. She was new to Ancestry, had just sent her DNA in, and she cracked the code. She uploaded a picture of her grandmother, and her grandmother was my grandmother's sister. My grandmother was named Vivian. And my father, his name is William Marion Moore Jr. And he was born in Texas, and his mother is from Georgia. And his mother passed away when he was only 7 years old. So he grew up without a mother, and he had a brother that was 3 years younger than he. So I'm beginning to know who my father is and his family, and I still don't have a picture of him yet. But there are people in the family that have been wonderful. They're helping me, and they are going to get me pictures, and they are going to fill in the blanks of who my father was. My father passed away in Tennessee in 1981. He was only 60 years old. He's buried in a veterans cemetery there. And so I have no idea why my father, he never married, and as far as I know, he never had any other children except for me. And I can't even find an obituary. So I'm assuming my father died alone. So I don't know the story yet. I'm so grateful and so thankful that I have found who my father is. But I have so many questions. And there's a site on the internet. It's called Find a Grave. And that's, where if you're looking for your ancestors or a relative, you log on and you can see their grave, and it will give you a little bit of detail about your relative or ancestor. And so my grandmother Vivian has a Find a Grave. She has a picture of her gravestone, and my father is listed as her child. But there is no picture of his grave. So I sent out a request, and immediately I got a veteran that responded, and he said, I live only 5 minutes from that cemetery, and it's a beautiful cemetery. And he sent me a picture of the cemetery, and he said, I'm going to make sure that I send you a picture of your father's grave. And I'm going to try to find his obituary or some detail about your father. This veteran that is helping me told me that where my father is buried is one of the most beautiful veteran cemeteries that there is. So I want to travel to Chattanooga to see my father's grave. And I told him that. And he wrote back and he said, your father would be so proud that you're doing this. And he said, I can tell your character because you capitalize the F in father when you're speaking of Mr. Moore. And that made me feel really, really good. It really did. It's Valentine's Day. We have so many deer here around where we live, and they come up right to our window, and Desi sees them, and I swear he almost passes out. He gets so excited. It's a deer. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. He loves me. It's Valentine's Day. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there with us today. I loved every second of it. I need to ask, where's your heart? Where'd your heart go? Here we go. Come back and see me and Desi, okay? And everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's Day. How about that? Was that okay? It was 1954.